So welcome to another clean-cut hedging video by the Trading Mentor. My name's Will Sebastian. We're going to jump straight into it. Before we do, if you enjoy this, and you can see on every single hedging video I'm posting that we always end every market move, no matter the asset, no matter the time, in full gains overall with a low drawdown structure, then like, comment, share, subscribe, and go underneath if you're interested in learning a little bit more for free. Let's jump into this one. So let's dive into another one here. We're going to do it on the euro pound. Make sure you watch this the whole way through if you want to actually learn something. No good watching part of it, just skipping off, because as always, we will end this video in profits overall with a very low drawdown structure. So what you can basically see going on here is a good push. You can see it quite well on the daily. Obviously, a lot of sentiment has come into this market. And really, this has taken you from about 0.7637 to about 0.86. Okay, so a good, decent way, right? 960 pips, or however much it may be. I mean, you can see, obviously, we've come well off your key moving averages and you're now returning back. So if my size is going to be a max of, let's say, 0.8 or something like that, then my first entry cannot be large because, as a retracement, you've hardly gone anywhere. All right, so you just don't have that long side market value. In other words, the deal long you're getting is not the best deal. Obviously, if the market falls further, it will be. So a bounce onto that MA gives me an ideal entry spot, as markets mostly function on averages and anything numerical, really. So if I just keep playing forward, I've got $280 there. So I'll take that out. Now, at this point, I can go larger to the short side because we're still quite high up within this push. We haven't really fallen. Market is still remaining fairly bullish, and a break of this high is not going to be entirely shocking, I imagine. But a nice little dip there is going to give way to another small long, and you can see what we're seeing now is just a formation of this. Now, I will get this on the weekly from here, just so I can speed this up a lot more, okay? Because otherwise we're only going to be going over a few days' data, and it will just take forever. So that's why I often do these long ones. Now, I'm going to reshort again, but I'm not going to go as heavy as I did before because we're pushing straight back into the same area. So the market is more or less just telling me that it's not ready to fall perhaps just yet. So that leaves me able to short again at this high. And now anything above this, I'm going to use a long-term vision just to see really where those price action areas are. And in other words, where I want to add again, because it's going to give me an idea of, how much drawdown I'm going to end up with, and really, how I want to hedge or how I want to protect myself in this situation. So we'll play that a couple of times. We're up, then we'll add a short. And of course, if we just fall, I'll kill off some of those shorts that I've got already. So nothing really happening at the moment. Okay, and now we're pulling down. I don't really want to kill this. Okay, I'm going to kill one of them. The other one I'm going to kill about here, because that's going to come to a key level of support. Okay, but other than that, I don't really want to do anything else at this point. Okay, now I can see a bit of rejection on the support level, so I can swap to the daily, and it's crumbling, hitting early support. So I'm going to kill this one off as well. So I'm out again for gains there. At this point, I can add a long, 0.25, and anything really back up here, I'll probably kill. Now it's struggling at these MAs, but it is somewhat still semi-bullish. So I'm going to kill that off for gains. I'm going to add another 0.25. And we'll just see what happens here. And I'm going to add another one. And really the trajectory you can see is something along here. So anything above that high, I'm going to add another short. Okay, and it's going to need to be at a key level. So if I go on the weekly, I'm now looking anything over here. It's not quite clear, so I'm going to go on the monthly. And the monthly, I'm not really interested until about there, I would say, because you just don't have any key price action. There's nothing that screams out there to say, oh, you know what, I'd love to add there. So, okay, so I'm probably missed a bit on this, but I'm going to add a 0.5. All right. And we'll just see where we end up with that. Now the market looks fairly supportive. but we're still well off our RITHA, okay, our 20 and 40 MA. So I'm going to hold that short. And the drawdown's picking up slightly. So I'm just going to keep going through. Equity's still positive, even though you've got a bit of drawdown there, so I'm not completely concerned. If I hadn't taken gains already, I probably wouldn't be so enthusiastic about the size. Nonetheless, I'm going to go long. And now I can take a much deeper long there, 0.3. Okay, and any push back to the high I'll kill, any push lower. So you can see now, effectively I'm hedged, okay, to an extent. That's the one I want to get rid of for gains. And now you can see I've got 0.25 short, 0.5 long. So I'm going to look to add another long if we can get nearer here, because that's a key long zone. You can see a lot of support there, and that 40 MA is coming over very nicely as well. So I want to get rid of that short, to be honest, in gains if I can. Take that one off, add again. I think I was a bit too aggressive, somewhat. Okay, so you can see price is trying. It's not getting very far. And then another push, I'll start to hedge short. So if we come back nearer this 20 area, I'll probably hedge it a bit short. We'll take that one off and I'm going to hedge. So I've got a bit of shorts exposure there. And now I'm willing just to let the market run a little bit. And I'm going to add another one. So I've now got a decent amount of exposure countered, if you like. Take that one off for $372. And now I'm going to take that one away. I'm not going to add a long. And what I think I'm going to do is just check where I am long term. So I'm quite high up. You can see that. So really, I'm going to want to start to work away at these things like this. So market's still pulling down, and I'm going to add another 0.15 there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill that one off, and I'm going to remove that long because, I don't want to get stuck with long entries that high up. So effectively what I've done is I've used my hedge gains to what we call wash away that loss. Okay. So I haven't really closed a loss overall, and that's the beauty of hedging. You're never really closing losses because you're always hedged pretty much, across a full diverse asset, diverse portfolio of many assets. You're always going to be hedged across the board, either directly on that asset or across a basket of assets that are semi-related or completely related. So bit of a drop there. And I can just add another long, just keep it light because the market's quite indecisive. I'll take another long there, keep it light still. And I don't really want to kill these unless we can push back up a bit. You can see the market is now sitting between these two blue lines and a bit of sideways movement and a lot of cohesion. I'm going to take that one away. I'm not going to add another long. And I'm just going to see if we can get something higher before I add anything short. And at that point, I could even just close the longs out completely. So really not getting any drawdown here at all because I'm frequently taking gains pretty much all the time. So I'll add another 0.2. I'll get short. And we're just looking for a drop. If it keeps going higher to that next blue line, you can see, okay, I'm going to add another 0.2. And let's have a look. If it breaks the high again, I'm going to reassess my options because I think I will add one right at the extent of that high. So I'm going to add another 0.2 there. So I'm still in net gains because I've taken quite a lot already and I've been very accurate. So breaking that high, I've got to decide, do I want to add another short? Okay, I probably wouldn't mind adding a little bit more. Probably somewhere in there, because you can see there's nothing really in the way until that. And because the market sentiment is clearly harsh, i.e. something's probably happening that's causing a runaway, I do not want to load in with a max size. I want to take my gains early, and if I can, and if appropriate, just start to hedge a little bit of that exposure. So I'm going to add a tiny 0.1 there. And what I will do is I'm going to kill that one off, and I'm going to add another one. Now, I'm not desperate to buy because I've got a lot. So there you go. That's really nice. I've got a lot of gains in the bank. I'm quite safe here. I can take more there like that. And on another drip down, I just want to remove this if I can. And I'll add another long there like that. And now my drawdown levels are a lot more safe. So we've gone on very wild swings the whole time I've started this. And you can see there's really no danger to be had. I've got quite a lot of gains in the bank. So I'm going to take off this top one. I'm going to wash it away with my hedge gains effectively. And I'm going to do the same. No, I'm going to leave that one on. And if we drop again, I'm just looking for some direction here, really. I'm going to take that one off. I'm not going to buy again. At this point, I've got the option. I could easily remove both of these and still be well in net gains, no problem. But we'll keep going just to see what we can end up with. Really, I want the optimal result. So I'm going to take that one away, and I'm just going to add another short here. And hopefully that's, although I've removed that position, it's effectively a hedge against what I've done almost. So now I can get the money back I just lost, is basically what I'm saying. I can take another long there because the market's getting squeezed very tightly. Okay, in this price range you can see on the daily. Looks like that. So not a lot going on. But at this point, it looks like the market's subdued and might crack. So I'm going to take that one away. I'm going to add a short there. And hopefully if that falls, I'll be able to exit the last two. If it doesn't, I'll keep trading the cycle round. Okay, you can see we're actually seeing a bit of force here, but there's still the target lower within this sideways trajectory, which you can see if you've got the right training. And there, great. So kill that off, and I'm out of everything for net gains, as I am on all of these hedge videos. And it's very possible to do. You just need to understand how markets work and how risk management works. You can see again, as all my videos, the win rate is enormous. You very rarely get anything more than this kind of drawdown structure, but the gains just keep piling in and your balance goes up and up and up and up. This is more of a swing approach because I had the weekly. But if you had a multi-asset portfolio running the same way in all these months, obviously you'd make more money, but we were only trading one asset there. So some brilliant stats as always, but that is essentially how it works. Don't forget, if you want to learn, go underneath. See you in the next one.